Hey folks, it's me again. Have you heard that expression that the winners write history? I remember the first time I heard that expression, it was my father-in-law. He was a diehard, lifelong Democrat, very liberal, and I was still in my crazy conservative days. And he was complaining about something, I forget exactly what it was, but he said, sometimes you can't trust history because history is always written by the winners. And I don't know. I wasn't sure what to make of that at the time, but I've thought about it over the years and I get it. I can understand. Especially if you look at like what happened to Native Americans. There's whole swaths of human history that are just gone because history was written by the winners. And in South America, like we don't know anything that the Aztecs were trying to talk to us about, or the Incas, and they had legends and stories and golden tablets and all this kind of crazy stuff that could have told us so much more about our history as humans, but history was written by the winners. And you could point at time after time after time when we lost something that was important because history was written by the winners. Now, this won't be popular, but it's a valid perspective, I think, because right now there's a big movement to get rid of all the Confederate statues. Now, don't get me wrong, I understand that, the Aztecs and the Incas and those folks, Native Americans, weren't motivated by hatred or dark economic forces or anything like that. They were preserving their way of life, and the colonists were coming through and taking their land. I see that as a difference. But that principle still applies. Because you know what we risk? We risk forgetting that level of hatred existed. Now, I understand too that there are some monuments down south in the Carolinas and Georgia, Mississippi, places like that, where those monuments were hastily erected and they're kind of shoddy, and they were only put up like during the civil rights movement, and they're deliberately placed as a reminder to black folks that they weren't white. And I know that's a problem. But where I would draw the line, though, is Gettysburg. That's where I think maybe you're pushing it too far. And hear me out. Here's why. Gettysburg was a pivotal battle, and that was the place where we, in the North, were able to turn the tide of the war. And I fear that if you go through places like Gettysburg and you remove all the statues to the Southern generals and soldiers and all those sorts of things that are there at Gettysburg, then we risk losing the seriousness of that moment. And to me, what was serious about that moment was that we had brother fighting against brother, father fighting against son. We were a nation that was torn apart, killing each other over economics, over darker political forces that most of the common folks didn't really understand. And that doesn't seem like something that we should forget. So, my view is that while I see why the Confederate statues have to come down around the South, I do think some of them should stay in place. But not in a place of sacred value of some kind of history or something like that, but as a reminder that we killed each other in hundreds of bloody battles, all across the nation. We had deep hatred for each other. We slaughtered each other. Burned down cities, and raped women, killed children. And that happened in our country. And I fear that if this time we let the winners rewrite history, or just write the history, they might write that part out of it. And I think that those sorts of monuments in Gettysburg say, we should keep that one. And just show what it is. A snapshot in time of when we deeply hated each other. So we don't forget that we did one time. And take some of those monuments and some of those statues, stick them in a museum. Get them off the streets. They don't belong in the streets. But put them in a museum somewhere. Stick them in the Smithsonian. And that way, we can move the right way as a nation. We can unite as a nation as much as we ever will. But then not forget how bad things can get. Anyway, those are my thoughts on that. Hope you guys are doing well. Look forward to your comments, and talk to you later. Bye.